So, Dave, it's the morning after the night before. Well, listen, we had a chat at half-time yesterday, and you, like me, ever the optimist, the happy clapper, did believe that Wolves were going to draw first blood. And I said, Dave, listen, the pressure we're under from West Ham, there's only one team going to score first. And I hate to admit I was right, but I was. It was great to see Doherty getting back into it, getting us back into it. And we was showing fight, but then the second goal is indefensible, excuse the pun. Free header, marking once again, awful on set pieces, and we lose El Sakiko. But, you know, there is positives to take from the game, but not many. But listen, you can see the shift changing on social media now towards Gary O'Neill, and in his interview, his post-match interview yesterday, he was you could see he's passionate, but equally, he's a beaten man by what's happening from above. He made reference to the lack of physicality in defence, which is true. We haven't replaced Max Kilman. He also mentioned the £200 million worth of sales that we've sold and not replaced these players, and it is true. He's took the job under these circumstances in as much as he would have known that there wasn't a pot to play with right at the beginning, unless, like previous managers, he's been hoodwinked. But these are the sort of managers that Fosun want in place. And this is where it's all beginning to unravel for me and go wrong, in as much as they have got this self-sustainable model, but it will only last and work for so long before it all ends in disaster. And that is going to be huge for Fosun. I don't think they understand the repercussions of relegation, but I'm sure they do, because this is a conglomerate we're dealing with. But they're just the model they've put into place is just not going to work in the EPL. And it's certainly not going to work for Wolves. But you can see a change in shift where Gary O'Neill is getting some support. And listen, he's got excuses. He's also got a level of culpability. I do think this squad of players should be doing a lot better than they are. But equally, you look at the end, the petulance from Lamina, and you think, listen, there's some infighting going on. You've got Lamina pushing Totti, then pushing Sean Derry, which is clearly a big no-no. And this is our captain. And it's a very, very poor way to behave. But equally, it just shows the absolute unrest in the camp. The fish's heads rot from the top, so I'm told. And Dave, whatever's going on at this club, the culture is set from the very top. We've had the season ticket prices. We've had the absolute debacle of that. And now we're massively in the eye of a storm of a relegation fight. I do feel for Gary O'Neill, but I do think change is still needed. But Dave, we're in big trouble. Always Wolves.
Hey Dave, Noah here from Monterey, California. So it ends West Ham 2, Wolves 1 at the London Stadium. Another disappointing result from Wolves. To quickly go over the game, at least, the first half, it just felt kind of slow. It felt sluggish. Felt methodical in a way. And then the second half, it definitely kind of opened up, more so in West Ham's favor. I don't know how Souček is completely marked on the back post, and has the header still come down yet? I don't know. I feel like it was in the air forever. Maybe Johnston could do a little bit better there. We got a good equalizer from Doherty. A good ball in from Nuri. Obviously 2 penalty shots as well, and I don't understand how at least one of them is given. And then just, once again, more shocking defending. Just giving Bowen all the space in the world. But I also want to touch on something surrounding just like the club in general. How much longer is it until we, as fans, put our foot down and say enough is enough when it comes to this model of ownership and this model of business that Wolves have? Say all you want about Gary O'Neill. The results haven't been good enough. He has not been good enough. But it ultimately has not been good enough the past 3 years or so, 4 years, has been Fosun. And to me, that's what it boils down to at this point. Yes, the most controllable aspect in the moment is firing Gary O'Neill, sacking Gary O'Neill. I think that has to happen. But let's be real here. That's not going to change a damn thing. it's not going to change a thing. It just isn't. Not in my eyes. Because we're just going to be going through this whole cycle again. Anyways, try to enjoy the rest of your week, I guess. And always Wolves.
Hey Dave, David New York Wolves here. I'm all dressed up in this one. At the lovely Excel Centre in East London for a conference. Went to West Ham last night. Beautiful weather we're having. Honestly, if there was the way that neither team could get a point, I think that would be a fair outcome. Two teams low on confidence. It wasn't great to watch, was it? Not a compelling advert for the Premier League, but West Ham took their chances. We took one of ours, but we didn't have the composure for the other team, for the other chances. And I think it's a microcosm of where we're at the moment. We did some decent stuff going forward, some, not as dangerous as we've been in other games, but we created some chances. We're decent going forward, but we're just awful at the back. And I know I read this morning, I haven't watched anything back, probably don't intend to be honest. But there's an argument that both West Ham goals should have been disallowed and we should have had 2 penalties. I did see the one image where Bellegarde got his foot trodden on, but apparently that wasn't sufficient for VAR, so normal service resumed there. But let's be honest, we're in a bad place at the moment, and I've not been one to jump on the Gary O'Neill demonisation train. If we think he's the only problem at Wolves, we are incredibly deluded. The problems at Wolves go way, way deeper than having an inexperienced manager. And I think, let's not forget, he came in when nobody else wanted the job, and he did a good job last season. And we got some great results last season. So I think he's earned a little bit of credit and earned the right to have a chance to turn things around, but he's not. So we need to make a change because we don't have any wiggle room now. We've got to start winning on Saturday. We've got to beat Ipswich, we've got to beat Leicester. I forget who's after that, but we've got to start winning games and get out of the relegation zone, keep ourselves up this season, and then try and figure out this season or in the summer what the hell we want to be as a club, and fix the ownership. So I think we need to make a change. Unfortunately, I really wanted Gary to turn it around, but he's had his chance. He hasn't been able to do it, and I don't know that there's any manager out there that could take the squad that we have where they're at and turn them around. From this current situation, I think you need that change, that break, new system, new people coming in to shake them up and get them playing the way we know they can. Because you look at the talent on paper, we're way better than being 19th. So it's a sad state of affairs. I hope Fosun have a plan in place. I really hope they have a plan in place, and that we can get this turned around. So on to Ipswich on Saturday, and I don't know. It's going to be an interesting few months as a Wolves fan. Talk to you later, Dave. Up the Wolves.
This is Chris from Eidsvoll in Norway, speaking a few hours now after the defeat at West Ham yesterday, the latest defeat. And I think first and foremost, it's significant to say how sad it is that I've never cared less about the result of a football match, because for me, it's all irrelevant with this man in charge. He should have gone 2 months ago. Certainly should have gone after Brentford. Many times he should have been removed from his position. The win percentage is surely, or no, in fact is, one of the lowest in our modern history. Performances have been horrific. He cannot set up a team to defend in any way, shape or form. And yet again, we saw the results of this man's managerial ability in this game, where we conceded 2 very avoidable goals from a corner yet again. Also, if it wasn't for VAR, we'd have been 4 down, let's be honest, and that could have happened. There's no doubt about that. And now all the old excuses from Gary O'Neill after the game regarding he's been sold £200 million for players and not replaced. What he fails to point out is that he's got 2 of Brazil's national team's starting midfield there. So it's not like he's been given nothing at all. He repeatedly said in pre-season happy what he got. Who else's fault is it that he had a plan on how to play in pre-season, and then when the season started he just totally abandoned it? Players he bought, which he figured heavily in pre-season, have almost not featured at all. These performances are a total mess. And you can see it in the players now. And the reaction of Mario Lemina after the game, well, there you go. That says everything, doesn't it? He should have gone weeks ago. It's now Norwegian time 1:30 in the afternoon on Tuesday. He's got to go. He must go. We cannot carry on like this. He cannot be the manager in charge of the game against Ipswich. He must go. Get him out, please, for everyone.